Hey there, it's me, Chris Brogan. How are you? I wanted to do a quick video on live here to show you some thoughts about ways to make your videos better. You're being asked to get involved in a lot more video making, aren't you? People are saying, use things like Facebook Live. LinkedIn now has video. You can use this anywhere. You can put it up on Instagram, that sort of a thing. What people aren't telling you are maybe some steps and ideas and tips on how to make your videos just a little bit better. And so I'm going to give you, in no particular order, a bunch of tips on how to make your video go a little bit better for you. So, number one of the biggest pet peeves I have in the whole wide world for people who are making video, make eye contact with the lens. A lot of people do the same thing. They make this mistake. They look down at themselves. That shows a video of them looking down, right? That doesn't engage anybody because it looks strange. It's hard, right? Like when we see our faces moving and all that, we want to know, is there a booger up my nose? Is my hair in the wrong place? I can tell you that there are some definite challenges to making some good live video. And you can glance away. I'm looking to see what Vincenzo says. Hi, Vincenzo. And I can tell you that you can look away as you're thinking of stuff, but go back to making eye contact, because I think that's one of the most important starting points of making any kind of video better, is trying to connect with the people that are there. Hey, Jenny. Hang on, let me just read what Vincenzo says. Reading glasses. I feel like we were talking to each other because you're looking at the lens. Yes, exactly. That's utterly the deal. That's, to me, one of the more important things of this process is that there's some kind of a connection being made. It's different than when you're doing produced video, especially. For instance, when you are working on doing video where maybe you're reading the news or something like that. Maybe you don't want to engage with people, but in this circumstance, in this kind of a setting, I would say that it's much more important to do that. So number one, eye contact. Number two, be close enough to the microphone of the system so that people can hear you. We see with our ears more than you know. Now, some of my hearing impaired friends, they're going to laugh at that and argue with me. But we see with our ears, so get close enough that people can hear you. One problem a lot of people do when they're recording their videos is they stand 5 or 6 feet back. I don't know, maybe you want to see more of the person. I don't know what your plan is. But get to that scenario where you can make something better by having people hear you a little bit better. Super important. Jenny says, one of my biggest blocks are the lack of interaction. I can't see them or their eyes. Absolutely. Number three, because we've got 2 already out of the way. Number 3 is make sure you have some kind of decent lighting situation. Right now I'm using natural lighting, and thank the sweet tiny baby Buddha, it's kind of a gray day, so I have even better lighting. But number 3, do lighting. The lighting has to come from in front. I watch a lot of videos where people sit with a window behind them because in their mind they're saying, I'm showing off what's behind me. But instead you look a lot like you're in a witness protection program. And Brian mentions liking having a lavalier mic attached. That's great to have a lav mic. It is a perfect augmentation to making your video look a little bit better. I'm shooting kind of lazy on laptop here, so I don't have that set up, but that is definitely a way to make it sound a lot better. So number 1 was great eye contact. Number 2 is get close enough so you can hear better. Number 3 is get some kind of a lighting situation where people can see you. Now, it's really quick to go to YouTube and look up 3-point lighting. It is so easy to set up even better lighting than this. Even basic 2-point lighting when there's 2 sources so that you get the shadows filled in. Definitely good. But if you want to be cheap and lazy, just wait for really good sunlight and sit in it or stand in an area where great lighting happens. That's my point number 3. Point number 4, look at possibly some interesting ways to frame your video. So right now I'm just doing straight on, but what if I did it where I'm sort of in somewhere another 2/3 over or something like that? There's a lot of framing that you could do in your video that's just where you're putting the camera or something like that gives you a choice of how you're going to set up and what the video is going to look like. If you're just dead center, that's sometimes pleasing, but there's an opportunity to make something different happen. So also, you can start to pay attention to your background. My stepdaughter's mattress is leaning against the wall because I'm cleaning out the area where it normally goes. There's a laundry my wagon with my laundry in it in the background. Kind of messy. I could do to have a slightly more professional look, but you know what? I'm doing this middle of the day in the middle of the chore, so you get what you get. I think that there's, a whole lot to be had there. Mike points out the angle of camera. So if you notice, this is facing me almost head on. It's actually just a little bit elevated. And I did that with very, very important technical tools called a stack of my friends' books. By the way, Play Bigger's in that stack right there as well. Damp house. So I did it so that the video is looking at me and just slightly a little down on me. The difference is if you've got your video set up so that you're looking down on the video, there's something weird that happens when you do this. And it is that it sort of conveys a sense of authority or picking on putting down on somebody. It's a strange change that happens. And when it goes the other way, when you're way too looking up, you're looking up at it like that, it's like MySpace times, and it doesn't exactly work out so well. Hi, Cliff, by the way, and also Chris and Raul. So it's really important to set your camera angle up and setting and sort of position up so that people can see you just almost eye level, just a tiny bit above eye level, and it really kind of goes for a much more natural kind of feeling. Let me put on my reading glasses. My eyes are really messed up today. Yes. And hi, Addie. So those are some of my steps. I want to give you a few more tips on things I think can make your video better. One is, hi Derek. One of them also, very important, if you're not necessarily great at speaking live and fresh and off the cuff, if you're not so great at remembering all of your points and your details, cheat and have a bullet list of the things that you want to cover. Take a piece of paper, take a Post-it note, I don't care. Put a big monitor in front of you with the list of things you want to cover, but then have your topics laid out. It is important that you are crisp and succinct and as brief as possible. People do not want to watch you and through your materials. People do not want to watch you stumble with your content. People want to get that sense that you are delivering some quality, some value, and doing it in a timely fashion to them. They're not going to want to sit around and watch you think about your topics or watch you stutter and mumble your way through your topics. And I'm not saying that to make you feel bad. I really don't want to make you feel bad. I want you to think instead, oh, well, if I just had thought about this ahead of time, I could have had a list and I could have had some bullet points and that would have kept me on track. That's always better than making people suffer through your memory lapses and stuff like that. Larry says, great tips so far. You're among the best at it. Thank you. Thank you. And how is my health journey going? I look great. Oh, my health journey is up and down. Man, I am at my fattest again right now. I'm wearing it in slightly different ways. Thank God to some muscle mass, but I got to get back on the wagon. There's the wagon in the background. Oops. There's the wagon. There's a wagon in the background. So I think that, I'm not where I should be. Thanks for the question though, Derek. Another way that you can make your videos better is, again, as I've said, you have your list of your topics, but be willing to interact, be willing to connect if you're doing live video. I've gone back and forth on this, and sometimes if I'm going to do a live video in a setting where I'm not going to be able to engage with the people in the comments, I let them know. And I can tell you that in general, people get a little fussy on that if it's in the live format. So if you're going to do live, try to do something to integrate and communicate with the people that are showing up. That's part of the process and the fun of the way that video is changed fundamentally in the last couple of years is there's a huge element of I see you, which is sawubona, which is the Zulu greeting that is instead of hello, they say I see you. And the response is Nikona, I am here. And that's a huge cultural difference compared to Western society where we say hi, and what we really mean is I'm just making sure you heard and saw me, but not that I saw you. Big difference, right? So it's important that you interact with people and connect with them and give them some sense of value by showing that you value that they've shown up to this, especially in the live video setting. Beyond that, one thing we can start to do better with our live videos is we can go beyond just talking heads. Are there ways that we can incorporate more stuff? Are there ways that we can bring other interesting things to light? Sure you can. You can put videos into the storyline and you can have people watch what it's like to get your live lobsters ready to go for a summertime cookout or something like that. Other ways that you can bring people in, sure, you could talk about, I was just in New York City. I saw this really cool boxing gym. I was too nervous, but it really looked cool. And I loved all the graffiti and everything on the outside of it because it just looked like a really old-timey place. It was called Overthrow Boxing Gym. And I thought, man, I should. right? So storytelling doesn't have to just be our talking heads. We can do some really interesting stuff to make our videos even better. And I think that you have to think about what kinds of things people are consuming these days and how are you going to stack up against it. It's not good enough that someone knows you anymore. It's not good enough that you may or may not be smart about something. You really have to start putting some production value to this. And when I say that, it's not that you should feel bad about it. Start where you are. Take your camera out, push the record button, go for it. But as you're working forward, as you're moving along, as you're doing the stuff you're doing, look for these other ways to add value to the process. I think that's enough for right now. I'm going to give a quick bunch of seconds for if you have any questions about anything, and then I'm going to get the heck out of here. If you're watching this in the recorded form, I'd push stop now, unless you're the kind of person like me who's nosy and want to see what questions come up. Who's got some questions for me? And if not, that's cool too. I got to go do some stuff. We get the laundry finished. Get that closet clean out finished. I just ran out of fizzy water. Life's a terrible thing. Hi, Juliana. All right, I'm going to go because I didn't see any questions pile up. If you have questions, you didn't get them in at the end of this thing, just send an email, chris@chrisbrogan.com. Always happy to talk with you. Thanks so much for your time today.